Okay, so now how are we going to do this tomographic reconstruction thing? I'll just mention a little bit. Okay, so it turns out we're going to talk about the how we're going to do this next time, and the first thing I'm going to do is introduce some transformation coordinates. So theta is this rotation, and basically what's going to happen is I'll just give you the answer since we don't have time to derive it anyway. I'll just tell you the answer, and that way you'll know what the answer is before we do it next time. Let me we have, okay, I have a little more time. Okay, if the answer is going to be this. Hold on, where is it? Fourier-Slice theorem. Okay, the answer is this, the Fourier-Slice theorem, that it says that if you take the continuous, see, this is the projection at a particular angle, right? R is the displacement. So let me just put the picture up again of this. So this is the object. At a particular angle, we check the projections, which we can get, and so we get a function as a function of R. So we take this 1D function, and we take the continuous time Fourier transform of this 1D function, okay? So that's this. We take this, we take its continuous time Fourier transform, so the transform variable in frequency is rho. Now you'd say, well, why not use f? Well, because it's going to get too confusing if we use f. So I'm going to use rho. Rho is serving the function of frequency. And then, of course, I can always take the continuous space Fourier transform of the 2D object, right? And that's f of uv. So what's the relationship between this and this? Well, it turns out that p of theta rho is just the continuous space Fourier transform in polar coordinates. So it's a beautiful result, because what it means is this. This is how to visualize it. We'll talk about this next time. That if you took the 2D Fourier transform of the object, then when you take a projection and you take the Fourier transform of the projection, you're basically looking at the 2D Fourier transform along some ray at the associated angle. So if you lay these together at all the different angles, you're getting the 2D Fourier transform of the object in polar coordinates. So all you have to do is take the inverse Fourier transform. You just lay down polar coordinates, take the inverse Fourier transform, you're done, okay? But there's a hitch, okay? By the way, go back and look at the proof for this. But the hitch is this. Standard 2D FFTs are done on rectangular coordinates. So doing a 2D Fourier transform in polar coordinates is tricky. It's computationally very expensive. So you need to you would need to interpolate on a rectangular grid. But interpolation on a rectangular grid is also expensive computationally because it's a non-homogeneous interpolation. So what they really do is a thing called convolution back projection. And convolution back projection is a tricky way to get the answer and to avoid all these issues of Fourier transforms and interpolations. But this is the underlying theoretical concept that allows you to recover the signal from its projections at every angle. It also gives you a lot of insight into what information is lost when you don't get all the angles or when your frequency transform isn't, you don't have enough projections. So I think we're out of time. Thanks a lot. It was fun. I'll see you again next week. Bye.